breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Y'all, the YSL trial has officially ended. I'm not going to spoil it, tell you the verdict. We're going to go live with this. Put your comments in. Should Young Thug have stuck it out, or should he have gambled, getting found guilty and getting the minimum of 20 years? Speak on it. Let's see where we at. Let's go. All right. You know, there's Unique Mech Audio, man. There's a verdict in the YSL trial. Young Thug pled guilty and got decades of probation. His co-defendant stuck it out. They were looking at too much time. They said, I'm going all the way. Nothing wrong with Young Thug, bailing, whatever you want to call it, but that's not a disrespect when I say bailing. It's whatever is best for him. If he feel he could handle those probation years and whatever it is they was offering, then it was up to him. And no one could tell him if he was right or wrong. But Shannon and Deamonte, they stuck it out. And this is the verdict being read. So let's go, and we're going to break this down in real live time. Put your comments in there. Cash App on the screen. Make sure you hit the icon that says it was created in 2020. All right? There it is in green. Let's go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. We have a verdict. We have two verdicts, and I do not want there to be any kind of disruption or disturbance in court, regardless of what this verdict is. So, can we get the jury out, please?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's the big day. This is the big day. Gunshots. All right. There you go. Stands firm, young man. He's standing on his square right now. Let's bring this down. I want my man bigger right now. There you go. Oh, but I'm blocking him. So I got to come back over here. Let me get that out of his way. There you go. Let's see that young man stand firm. The judge is about to read the verdict. Sit back, bite your nails, run, get your popcorn, whatever you need to do. This is what it looked like when you choose to be on the street. That's why I say don't go on the street. It's not worth it.
All right, thank you very
Fighting
much.
for his life. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that you all have reached a verdict. Mr. Foreperson, is that correct? All right, and was it unanimous? Yes. All right, and this verdict has been filled in and signed and dated by you, correct? For each defendant.
All right. When she say unanimous, she means all 12 all 12 jurors agreed. That's what she meant when she said, was it a unanimous verdict? Because they'll probably poll the jury after that. That's when they ask each juror if this is your verdict, guilty, and that's where they're going to go from there. All right, so let's keep it moving.
All right, and I noticed that Mr. Kendrick's verdict form is dated December 2nd. Is that because that's when you all reached the verdict with regard to him? Okay. And then Mr. Stillwell's is dated today. Okay. All right, Mr. Kendrick. You have been found not guilty on all charges.
Proud of
Mr. Stillwell. Okay, stand. You have been found guilty on count 64, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and not guilty on every other charge.
Woo! It's always a win when someone wins their freedom. I don't know how or what or why you rat bastards look at it any other way. There's always multiple victims in any crime. You have the assailant, and then you have the victim. They both took a loss, but it's from where the assailant was at mentally why he made the choices that he made, because he wasn't in the proper frame of mind, because wherever he was at in his youth or even in his mentality, but never should you wish anyone go to jail. That's why I'm celebrating the brothers beating all these charges. They try to look what Young Thug took. What do you think, put it in the comments, would have happened to Young Thug if Young Thug would have stuck this through? Do you see this bracing and hug? He's happy for what he's going to get, because out of all those charges, they only found him guilty of one. God is great. And I know that there was many victims that he may have harmed or allegedly harmed, because he was found not guilty of those charges. So we definitely going to say allegedly. There was many people that he may have allegedly harmed along the way with what he was doing. But it's a great day when one of us beat him. Just like, could we ride? Just like when O.J. Simpson won. Majority of America knew he was guilty of sin. But they looked at it like it was them against us, because that came right after the Rodney King beating, when he went 110 miles an hour in Hyundai. In a Hyundai. I think they owe Rodney King a compensation check, because Hyundais cost $4,500 back then. You know what I mean? That's back in 91, 92, 90, right? $4,500 for a Hyundai. Nobody bought it. It was looked at as nothing. And this man went 110 miles an hour getting away from the police when nobody knew it had that much power in that $4,500 engine. And now look at him. I own a Hyundai in 2024. Big shout out to Hyundai and Rodney King. But all that is where that started from. And then, of course, we had the Million Man March when we was coming out off of the Black Power movement in rap, from the Pump the Fist to the Disrespect to Females, where Snoop and Dre and them, and they had, what's that joint? It just ain't nothing but and tricks. Y'all remember that. That's where we at. Let's get back to this, man, because this is a wonderful moment.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are officially released from further service, and I cannot express the degree of thanks that Fulton County owes you for your service. Given the length of this trial, you have paid close attention this entire time.
Right there, this brother is thanking God with every fiber of his being for this to be over, and he's not guilty or acquitted on all charges. But let's say a prayer that the feds don't pick these young men charges back up, because these are the rules of the game. They get a state trial for conviction, and they get a federal trial for conviction. And then we get a direct appeal, and then we get to go to the Supreme Court, and then we get to do a 2255 or a 2254 if you're in the state. And then you get to file a 60B motion, a 2241 in the jurisdiction or wherever the jail that you're currently incarcerated at. And the whole time you filing these motions, you file into a group of people that's also considered a gang, an alleged gang, just to let you know what I'm talking about. And they're going to look out for each other. You file your motion in New York because you're locked up in Raybrook, and then you get transferred to California because you want to go to California because the law is more lenient over there, and they had cases came out that could help you over there. So you put it for a transfer all the way to California, you file a 2241, and when it get there, then that judge calls the judge back in New York and say, I got one of your peoples filed the motion. How do you feel about it? And he say, keep them. And then they deny it. Simple as that. That's how they play with our lives. But this young man behind me with his head down do not have to pray none of those motions. That's a wrap. Let's keep it moving.
And I appreciate your devotion, as I'm
Tell 'em
sure
again.
do the parties in this case. You are welcome to stay for the sentencing, or you can return to the jury room. I would like to speak with you in just a moment in the jury room. If you all do want to stay, you're welcome to stay. Is there any objection to the form or the legality of this verdict?
Thank God. Look at him. We thanking God
Any from the
100 times.
defense? All right. All right. Is there any reason that we can't go ahead and sentence? All right.
All right, before they begin the sentencing, right? Because we like to ride. We like to ride. I'm going to take you on a unique ride right now. Right? I was in the exact same situation. I remember when I was growing up, we all laughed at Oprah and she made it all the way to a billionaire because everyone that she brought on her show, she always said to whatever their life tribulations are, I went through that too. I've been through that too. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, I've been through this, and I'm going to tell you how this young man is feeling. I say I've been through that because we're going to ride back to 1994, June 27th. That's when I got convicted. My man Wolf was already on the street. He got acquitted, and I know I'm getting ready to start a life sentence. And, you know, so now that was the verdict. Then we're going to speed up to September 15th, 1994. That was my sentencing. Let's go back to the June 27th. See, this is how we ride. When they read the verdict, they found me guilty on 3 charges out of 6 charges. I beat 3 charges. I beat the conspiracy to money launder. I beat the money laundering. And something else. Conspiracy to money laundering. Yeah, that's what I beat. I beat 2 out of 5. Then I got found guilty of conspiracy, 848, and money laundering. But I beat the conspiracy to money laundering. That was one of my arguments for 20 years. It's a case called Ackerman versus United States. Went to the Supreme Court that said that if you beat the initial count, they can't find you guilty of the count because the overt act, which is the conspiracy, because that's what it's under, is really, you know, a non-chargeable or non-sensible sentencing effect. But they threw out my overt act because I got found not guilty on that and then got found guilty on the conspiracy. I know it makes no sense to you because it made no sense to me. I fought it for 20 years and didn't get it, but this young man ain't got to go through it. But I say that to say that when they read the verdict, they found me guilty on 3 out of 5 charges, was acquitted on 2, and my co-defendant was acquitted of the unaliving on the case. He had the unaliving in furtherance of my Rico, which is called the CCE, because I was a drug boy. See, I said boy. You know what I mean? I was a boy because it's like I was indiscreetly and subconsciously working for them, so I was nothing more than their puppet. They put it there. I chose to sell it by my choice, and I take full responsibility for that. And I gave you 26 years of my life for that, 26 and a half years to be exact. So now I'm here trying to stop the babies from going down the path we're going down. And before we go any further, I just want you to hear from my man, Murder Mook, man, because I ran to this brother, and this is one of the brothers that watch my YouTube podcast, and this is what he had to say, and I think it's a perfect time to bring in Murder Mook.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique, you know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, you know, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, you know, if, you know, shit be slow and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe. And it just took my mind way off of that. Way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mega Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Call 'em.
All right. So that's where we at, man. That's where we at. That's why we do this. And hopefully we preventing some of y'all from going down the path that these young men went down and had the indoor trial for over 18 months. The longest in history that I know about. You know what I mean? So y'all put in the comments and let me know where we at. Let's finish this video, man.
So, are we going to go ahead with sentencing? Is the state, I know the state had filed a recidivist notice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do y'all intend to stand on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So the recidivist is A and C recidivist. That means that I have no discretion but to sentence to the maximum on that count. And the sentence possibility is 5 to 10. I must sentence to 10 years. However, I can probate any part of that sentence at my discretion. And so the court sentence on count 64 for Mr. Stillwell is going to be 10 years to serve 2, with credit for time served, the balance served on probation. All right, I am going to recess. I'm going to recess for a moment, and we will reconvene on the status conference in a few minutes. You have 30 days to file a motion for new trial if you choose to do that. Your attorneys will represent you on that unless they are excused from that representation by me. You also have 30 days from either this date or the date the motion for new trial is ruled upon to file a direct appeal, if that's something you would like to do. And given that this is a felony conviction, you would have 4 years from the date that those direct appeals are finished to file a habeas corpus petition challenging anything about the constitutionality of this conviction and sentence. All right.
I want to say, hey,
You got a chance.
I want to say that I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I stood down, 10 toes down, every day, day in, day out. I stood by my son. It was his decision to not take the plea. And I said, whatever you want to do, I want to do. He said, no, I ain't taking the plea. He didn't take it, and we stood down. I prayed. I thank God for all the supporters all over the world. People who were supporting me, texting me, DMing me. I appreciate the love, and the love. All the prayer warriors, I'm thankful. God is good. He did his big one. They used my son's rap lyrics against him. How dare they do that? It's a freedom of speech. They just did so much corruptness in this case. And they threw things against the wall and it didn't stick. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I just got so much emotion right now. I'm full. Day in, day out, going to work, having a personal life, coming back down here, sleeping in the courtroom. They having to wake me up, doing this thing over and over and over again repetitiously. Every day. Every day. My son stood up 30 months. My son stood up. And we was victorious. I'm thankful to God that a mother love went beyond the world. And I'm thankful. I never gave up on my son. Never. He said, Mama, I'm not taking it. I'm standing up. And I stood right by him every day. Every day of the week, I stood by my child. And he said, no. And I said, I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to stand with you to the end. And we stood down to the end. You never give up. No matter what's thrown against you. You never give up. Never. And he stood down. And I'm right here every day. Every day I stood up with him. Every night I prayed with him. And I told him, son, this is bigger than you. This is bigger than you. And I'm thankful to the people all over the world that prayed, gave me encouragement. He gave me encouragement. Big Jeff, Miss Sylvia, everybody around me. Taylor, Cole, I got so many people. My family members in Miami, Florida. Everybody that gave me hope and encouragement. And Deamonte stood every day. He watched them say bad things about him and disgrace him. And I had him and I raised him. They divulged his character. They said bad things about him, but we got the victory. And in life, you never give up. Never. You never give up, no matter how bad it looks. God said he'll make the enemy your footstool. I look to the hills where my help come from. I had bad days, I had good days, I had emotional days, but I damn if I was gonna give up. And I'm thankful for everybody that's been around me in my life who encouraged me. I'm emotional beyond words. I am emotional beyond words, beyond measures. A mother love. I never will give up. And I taught him that to give up, never give up. No matter what the judicial system say about him, never give up. Never give up. No matter what the words they had, the state versus Deamonte. But God was victorious in this right now. He was victorious. God was victorious in this situation. And I'm thankful. Amen. I'm thankful. Fight! Fight! Fight!
Oh man. Hold up. I realized I had the mute on. Let me bring my camera back on. I realized I had the mute on, and it's a good thing you didn't hear what I had to say, man. It's a damn good thing you didn't hear what I had to say. That's how God works. I apologize for the mic being on mute, but that's what God chose because I said some words that you may not even comprehend. So let me finish playing this tape, man. I'm glad the mute was on. You know what I mean?
The Zoom box, okay? All right. Admit him back in. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, so it may be that new offers will be forthcoming to all of the defendants. I mean, these are still very serious charges. I know that some of you all are young. Is Miss Weaver, well, she said she's going to the restroom. Okay. We have to start over because we're not taking any of this down.
The stenographer went to the restroom.
Says that they would like to record proceedings that commence tomorrow. So and that's from Atlanta News First. That's the only one that has been forwarded to me, is requesting something starting tomorrow, which obviously would not cover today. And it was forwarded to our public information office at 10:16. So there does not appear to have been any kind of Rule 22 even filed at the time this proceeding started at 9:30. That, regardless, you can tape under the circumstances that you and I already discussed. Just make sure not to show the defendants because they're not dressed out in civilian garb, if you will. All right, thank you. All right, we now have our court reporter. And so before we were officially on the record with the court reporter, I had let everybody know about the verdict that it had been returned in the trial that was ongoing until a few minutes ago in Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Stillwell's case. And it may be that new offers will be forthcoming to some or all of you. It may not be. I don't know. That is not for me to decide. That is for the state to decide. And the charges against some of you are very serious. Some of you are charged with murders. Some of you are charged with other very serious felonies. Some of you are just charged with RICO or gang counts. Those are serious as well. I don't know if the state is going to regroup and take a new tack. I have no idea. I would imagine they'll be talking. And I'm just wondering if it might be a good idea to set maybe a new date for a final plea again. I know y'all had a final plea once in front of a senior judge. It wasn't the judge that was going to preside over the trials. I'm happy to do that, but I kind of am going to need to know sort of how each of these cases is going to progress, if there are going to be charges dropped or null pros, if the state is going to move forward with everything. And if there isn't resolution, then we are going to need to sort out a trial calendar, the time needed to try the case, whether there are any outstanding motions that need to be handled prior to a trial. And then if it's going to be a trial, any motions in limine, and at some point get proposed jury questionnaires and things like that. And it may be that it's a little too early, given the latest developments, for the state to be able to have any answers for that. I see that Mr. Abadi has been abandoned at council table and is sitting there all by himself, having been dragged into the case fairly late in the game, much like me.
He's quite capable, Judge.
But Mr. Abadi, do you know the answer to any of the questions on how the state might intend to proceed?
I think some of your assumptions are probably correct. I think a new date in the future, the near future, would be the most beneficial for all parties to make sure that we're all on the same page. And if there are going to be any new updated offers, we can get those out a little time to get those to council.
All right, so let's look at a calendar. Yes.
Really quick on behalf of
Sure.
we were very close to a resolution today that was essentially a time-served offer. Mr. Winfrey's been in custody for 18 months. We have asked for a slight modification to that offer. I would really like, if possible, because I will go into legislative session too.
Sure.
Mr. Winfrey, it's the holidays, and if he is this close to a time-served offer, I would like some consideration to perhaps get his offer done today. If the state feels like they can do it. I know Adrienne is gone. She's left Mr. Abadi here, but I have been texting with her. We were very close, Judge.
Okay, and that's fine with me, and I'm here all day, and I'm willing to entertain anybody's offers. So,
I have no issue with that. I know, in my, communication with Ms. Miller, I don't know if we're right there as it relates to the updated offer.
okay.
But I think if your honor is available this week at another time, if there's a court appearance that we could do, whether it be via Zoom, to take a plea. It sounds like the time is not the issue, it's the specific charges.
Okay, so, and I would assume all of the attorneys know what the pleas were for Mr. Nichols, Mr. Huey, and Mr. Ryan as well. I can certainly be available tomorrow. If you will recall our discussions at the bench, I'm not sure about my availability after that. But yeah, certainly, y'all work on that. And like I said, I'll be here all day tomorrow, and on and off. I have a couple of other things on my calendar tomorrow, but should be here for most of the day tomorrow as well. Does anybody else have an offer outstanding, or is everybody wanting to sort of wait on what might be coming forth new? Everybody wants to wait. I would too. Okay. Is it premature to discuss length of trial if there is going to be a trial for any of these defendants? And if it is, that's fine. We can reconvene.
I mean, I think it would, my estimation would be no more than 90 days. That would be my estimation.
I think that is a reasonable estimation. Okay. All right. So why don't we look at the calendar and pick a date before the holidays? Would that be reasonable, Mr. Abadi, to think about a final plea date before the holidays? Okay. Is everybody going to be around like December 18th, which is a little over 2 weeks from now? Would that be a good day for everybody? People are kind of nodding yeses. Okay. All right. Why don't we set?
Judge, I have a calendar on the 18th. I don't know if that.
All right. We could do the 17th. How about the 17th instead? That's 2 weeks from today. All right. Why don't we set a final plea calendar for all of the defendants in this case for December 17th, and we can maybe know some more by then, and even for the people who aren't going to enter any type of a resolution at that point, we can talk a little more intelligently about what it's going to look like to move forward. But to the extent that there is going to be a trial for anybody, I mean, I'm thinking sooner rather than later. The facts and the evidence, some of the charges against these defendants are different than some of the charges that were in the case as it existed with the last 6, but a lot of them are the same, and I think the state should be pretty ready to go. So I'm envisioning, like, by February, we'd be trying the next case to the extent that we're going to be trying any cases.
Yes, Your Honor. Eric Johnson for Mr.
Yes, sir.
The question that I would have, Your Honor, is...
Do me a favor and talk into the mic, because we do have people on Zoom, and it's easier for them to hear. Thanks.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can pick it up if you want. You're kind of tall. I don't think you want to hunch over like
Eric
that.
Johnson for Mr. Eppinger. The question that I had, Your Honor, is given the timing and scheduling that we're talking about, how long would it take for the transcript of the prior trial to be prepared? Because I know that there were certain witnesses that testified in the prior trial whose testimony may be used again in additional trial.
So it would, yeah, that it's a good point. It would probably, to the extent anybody knows which witnesses, that would be helpful so that the court reporter or court reporters can focus on that testimony instead of just starting from day one and going all the way through. Because I think if we do day one all the way through, it's going to be a while. And the court reporters would probably like a holiday as well.
Let me explain to y'all what's going on. Right now, what they're saying is that there's going to be a second RICO trial with a whole nother set of defendants without Young Thug that may not get this media coverage, so they'll be able to do what they normally do behind closed doors. And they're setting a date for when that begins. That's the second trial. So that's where we at. Y'all put in the comments. Let me know what's happening. All right?
So be thinking about if you all are thinking I'm going to trial, be thinking about which of the witnesses' testimony you would like, and then we can have the court reporters focus on those.
All right, so what she's saying is the witnesses, let's say they plan on using Little Woody. We know they're not. Let's say they tell them, do Little Woody or Monk Tongue, which they're not. Now, when they bring them in, they want to be able to have their transcript of what was said in this trial ready for the next trial so they could use that like grand jury testimony as sworn testimony and cross-examine them on the different inconsistencies that were said at Young Thug's trial and then what was said at the grand jury, and that's what's going to help them to beat this case. All right?
I guess my question, because it's likely Mr. Eppinger will be proceeding to trial, notwithstanding whatever happens resulting from this verdict, is the court going to take into consideration the time that the court reporter will need to prepare that in the scheduling the...
Well, I'll have to.
Okay. But I will inform her as to which specific witnesses, the testimony that I need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other kind of procedural matters? Does anybody have motions outstanding? You shouldn't, because you've already been to a final plea, but...
Your Honor, I will likely have a plea in order. Is that something we can argue on the 17th?
Get it filed, and I don't know if anything, I mean, I'll have to look, and I'm sure the state might have a response, but yeah, we can go ahead and take care of that, whether it's substantively or on some sort of a other basis. We'll handle that. But please get it filed like before the end of this week.
Understood.
And Your Honor, I know that Mr. Eppinger does have a previously filed immunity motion that would need to be heard at some point in time.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why nobody else has heard that already.
It was filed.
Did you all have a final plea date without that having been heard?
It was never called for a hearing. It was filed quite a while ago before his case was severed on the initial trial. So that would need to be heard at some point. That may be dispositive of some of the
Okay,
case.
how quick, it may be, it may not be. How quickly could this date and the defense be ready to have that heard? Because that may be something we can hear before the holidays. Maybe.
I guess I don't know what the immunity motion.
Microphone.
I mean, I assume he's charged with shooting 2 police officers, right?
That is correct, Your Honor. And that is the circumstance under which the testimony from the prior trial will be
Right.
needed to possibly impeach the witness at that immunity.
So you'd like that even by the time of the immunity motion or the immunity hearing?
I just need the immunity hearing scheduled at a time in which I can obtain that, Your Honor. That would be
Right. That's what I'm saying is you'd like the transcript or at least a rough of the transcript of, well, you'd need an official transcript to impeach them of whichever witnesses those are. So you can go ahead and get me and the court reporters a list of those witnesses by the end of the day today.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that they can be focused on that. And then I will find out from them their time estimate and we'll set the immunity hearing at a time after those transcripts are available.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The immunity motion is related to
So it would be related to the shooting of the 2 officers, so,
the state to be ready tomorrow.
okay. Well, we can't have the transcripts ready tomorrow, but I hear you. So we'll be waiting on the transcripts, and as soon as those are available, we can set that.
I don't think he has an immunity right as it relates to the shooting of the 2 officers presented by the arrest warrant, which they were trying to execute on Mr. Eppinger.
Right.
Seems like a waste of the court's time. But
So I don't want to get into substance now, but if the state has not filed a written response and would like to, go ahead and get that in by the end of the week.
yes, Your Honor.
All right, anybody else with outstanding motions?
Your Honor, not an outstanding motion. Back here, Attorney Terrell Dark for Mr. McMullen. I was just appointed and filed an entry on this case August 5th, so I don't have any discovery or anything. I'll be concerned trying to be ready by February to try this
Oh,
case.
you can get ready by February? You're a defense attorney.
I hear you, Your Honor. I'm just letting the court know.
This is going to be a 90-day trial this time, not a 2-year trial.
I hear you.
And I am sure that Mr. Abadi will provide you with all of the discovery. It's in about 1 million Dropbox links, but I bet he'll consolidate it into one for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And frankly, whomever the prior attorney was on the case really should already have discovery and it's their responsibility to provide that to you. Do you know who the prior attorney was?
Your Honor, I have no idea who that may have been.
I mean, I don't either offhand, but that might be a route to go as well. But Mr. Abadi will get it to you. What else?
Your Honor, I have a request on behalf of Mr. Mender.
Yes, ma'am.
Nicole Fagan on behalf of Mr. Mender. If we are going to have another final plea on the 17th, if we could request that the state have all offers, whatever's on the table by the 14th so that we can communicate so it doesn't happen in the rush of the moment.
Sure. Yeah, I guess we're not in my regular courtroom and this is not my regular team of people, but my rule is that the state needs to have the final offers to communicated to the defense at least 2 business days in advance of the final plea. The 14th is actually a Saturday, so let's say by close of business the 13th, 5 p.m. on the 13th, all offers need to be communicated. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, who is Melissa Reynolds in the waiting room? Anybody know? It could be somebody with I guess one of the prisons, so let me go ahead and admit them and see. Yes, is that Mr. Adams? Okay, all right, well, I'm sorry that he missed most of the status conference, but if you can update him and are you able, I think that all of the prisons have the ability to let y'all Zoom privately with attorney and client.
Thank you, Judge. We can set up
conference. So
Okay, and I can even leave y'all if you'd like in a breakout room after this is over with, so you can catch
that would be great.
him up. I think we can do that. My staff attorney is saying, no, we can't. Why can we not? Just when we're finished, you would just need to join the Zoom on your phone, and you can step into that little conference room back there so that you can talk privately, and y'all will be in a breakout room, so only the two of you will be able to hear what's going on. Okay, so Mr. Adams, your attorney's going to catch you up with what you missed. We've basically just been talking about scheduling. We haven't discussed anything substantive. All right, so I think that's it, and we will see everybody back here.
Last thing, one more thing, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Your Honor, upon Mr. Bender's severance, we didn't receive any new discoveries. So I'm not sure if any new discoveries outstanding, and I can't speak for any other attorney on the case, but everyone here has been severed. So I don't know if everyone has everything.
All right. Why don't I ask Mr. Body, can you just gather up all the discovery and maybe
Oh, man. I had the mute on again. See, that means he wasn't supposed to hear it. Like the last time he wasn't supposed to hear that, so let me tap out, man. But I'm going to do another video where I'm going to play the mother's speech again. I'm going to, speak on how I feel about the mother's speech, how she held it down. Make sure you cop my man Lou Sims' book. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26,
yeah.
He back on the strip, getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
What he mentions a gift.
Right.
You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in hall. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit.
Yeah.
Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn.
Real.
Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio.